Ladies and gentlemen, a McGuire fanatic. Tom Blair talk about the Steelers leases and whether or not they are fair for you and me, taxpayers sitting at home, and the story of vacation has turned into hell. NightTalk.
From Studio A, here's John McIntyre.
Welcome to the program. We're live in the high up television hill with Georgie, the amazing video you're about to see in a moment. Eric Sealater Gator running the camera at me, thinking back at me as his two. Executive producer Scott Jonesy Jones punching the buttons, getting jiggy with it on the keyboards in the control room so you can see the actual stuff on TV. The artist formerly known as J.C. Smith running audio this evening as usual, and Richard Suffering Succotash Sylvester answering your phone calls at 333-PCNC. Tom Flaherty's here tonight. He's the city controller. You know all this talk about the Steelers lease? Is it good? Is it fair? Do the taxpayers get screwed? If we haven't gotten screwed, are we going to get screwed in the future? Will there be so-called cost overruns that they will pay for, or will there be just a lot of bills that somebody has to pay that are not called cost overruns, and hence you and me, the humans at home, have to pay for them? Mr. Flaherty's done a rather extensive study, as I understand it, and also how this lease of the Steelers stacks up against other teams around the league. There was a kind of a hubbub about some cost overruns for the Pirates Stadium as well, which Mr. Leeper of the Auditorium Authority has denied are in fact cost overruns. Yet it's money that must be spent and must be paid for. You know what I'm saying? Hope so. Also tonight you will meet a Mark McGuire fanatic. He is a young gentleman from Upper St. Clair by the name of Max Young. He's got a scrapbook bigger than your head, bigger than everybody in your family's head combined. And it's got giant pictures of Mark, it's got autographs of Mark, it's got articles about Mark. It's a scrapbook. What do you think it is? And this man wants to meet Mark McGuire more than anything else in the universe, and I'm not sure whether he's actually met him yet or he's just been stalking him for several weeks, but we'll find out. And that should be cool. And then, I just flew in from Aruba, and boy are my arms tired, but I actually didn't fly into Pittsburgh. I flew out of Pittsburgh on a charter airline. But could I fly back to Pittsburgh on the charter airline? No. We landed in Raleigh, North freaking Carolina, and I ended up driving a rental car to Pittsburgh. What is up with that, one might ask? We'll explain all of that in two scintillating reports, one objective, one more snotty. That would be the one for me because I was there and I personally experienced the traveler hell. All of that and much more straight ahead on Night Talk as we're back live on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Stay with us.
Night Talk is brought to you in part by Coffee & Culp, the Roof Guys. Provider of Night Talk is Pittsburgh Limousine, the one clear choice in transportation.
Welcome back to the program and the exciting debut of Night Talk Visual Aids. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was just a little over a week ago that myself and Georgie Porgy, the Animal Parfait, one of the fine PCNC staffers, and our lovely companions, and yes, they were female, so don't even think about it, flew down to the island of Aruba. We began at Pittsburgh. We ended up in Aruba. You can see it's just off the coast of South America. It's a lovely little island. It's very arid. It's very desert-like. There's many cacti, but there are palm trees and it's cool, and there are scantily clad women, and what else can you ask for? Then we thought we'd fly back to Pittsburgh on this charter airline. It was TNT Vacations and Sunworld Airlines. TNT, Sunworld. Two names to remember in case you don't want to get stuck in Raleigh, North. No, it's not a pool accident. It is not a pool accident. Yes, the debut of special effects on Night Talk turns into a horrible disaster, worse than even the one I'm about to describe. Well, all right. You don't want to end up in North Carolina because the plane flew back to North Carolina for various reasons, which will be described. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the route was horribly thrown off course. Something went terribly wrong, as they say on television. Let's get the objective version of this from the fine Channel 11/PCNC News reporter. First of all, we'll get that, and then we'll get the snotty commentary version from me. But here first is Amy Marcinkiewicz.
But this airplane is definitely not going to go anywhere.
The announcement is made after an oil leak, an engine blows, and an emergency landing. This charter plane sits at the Raleigh-Durham Airport. It will not make it to Pittsburgh. Most of the passengers sit and wait to hear what happens next. A few of the passengers, WPXI employees, pull out the video camera and start asking questions of the airline Sunworld and the travel group TNT. One being, what are the chances of being reimbursed for food, hotel, added transportation?
I don't know what chances are, to be honest.
Do you have any idea whether we'll reimburse for all of our expenses?
No.
Any of our expenses?
You can call Sunworld and find out.
This is unbelievable.
The passengers say they couldn't get any answers. They say they were stuck in limbo for 30 hours. While most found other ways home, Kim Morgan let the tour group handle the problem. She was put on a bus and got home at 3 a.m. Monday morning, a day and a half late.
We were all ready to start crying right then and there. I had had enough.
Being late wasn't the worst. She says it sounds like a bad joke, but she knew she was in trouble when the plane was flying so low.
We were so low that we could actually touch the trees. It was pure hell from there on.
During the crisis, the Sun World pilot told our crew he didn't know much, but now the charter plane service has issued this statement. Although this was an unfortunate incident, safety is our #1 concern. We are now instructing passengers to go back to TNT Travel, and between the two of us, we will try to take care of all the passenger concerns. Too little, too late for Kim Morgan.
I've had it, and I'm sure everybody else feels that way.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to Georgie Porgy, the animal parfait, who had his incredible camera with him, we were able to capture through the magic of videotape much of the disaster that occurred at the airport in North Carolina. And this would be under the heading of commentary, because yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's not completely objective. It is my personal experience and commentary on the entire disaster that befell us, thanks to the fine folks at TNT and Sun World Airlines. Here it is.
How does a beautiful tropical vacation with palm trees, scantily clad island girls, and exotic wildlife turn into a screaming match?
Hey, there's about 160 angry passengers here, and they're kind of, I don't know.
The answer? When TNT Vacations and Sun World Airlines conspire to confuse, confound, and contrive crapola to bamboozle hapless Western PA vacationers into thinking they're actually trying to correct a problem. What they were trying to do, it seemed, was to tap dance long enough so that we'd all forget what we were angry about. What we were angry about was landing in North Carolina, told it was a refueling stop, then told it was because of a mechanical problem, which made us think we'd been lied to. I'm not sure where it was in North Carolina, but it must have been Mayberry, because clearly the man piloting the Sun World aircraft, the malfunction waiting to happen, was Goober.
Do you have any idea what the chances are that we'll get out of here tonight and when the plane will be fixed, or if it will be fixed?
I don't know what your chances are, to be honest.
Do you have any idea whether we'll be reimbursed for all of our expenses?
No.
Any of our expenses?
You can call Sun World and find out.
I see Sun World here. You're Sun World, right? I mean,
correct.
Why don't you call Sun World and find out?
Well,
you're representing them to all of us. Why don't you call Sun World and find out whether or not we'll be reimbursed for all of our expenses? You're it. You're the guy. You're the man. I'm just a passenger. You're the airline.
Right. And I understand your frustration.
So you have no number that you can call Sun World anywhere in the world right now that somebody's up and available when an emergency landing occurs to say, hey, there's about 160 angry passengers here, and they're kind of, I don't know, wondering if they're going to be reimbursed for their expenses. That's impossible for you to make a phone call to somebody?
I've done that.
And what have they told you?
Right now, there's not much information.
Not much information. Okay. I'm confused. A yes or a no as to whether we'll be reimbursed is sufficient. Are they, incapable of a yes or no answer? Hello, can you reimburse for them? Yes or no?
We were told the mechanic was on his way to fix the plane, but he was 45 minutes away, although he ended up showing up 4 hours later. We were told they could fly a plane in from Cancun, but later, no, they couldn't do that. We were told they had made arrangements for another charter plane, but only 100 of the 160 of us could actually get on that plane.
What do you think of this deal where they might get in a plane with only 100 seats and there's 160 of us? I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't think I could take you, but I think I could take that old lady over there. What do you think?
We were told they couldn't get a definitive answer from anyone about anything. And this did not please us.
The information I'm getting is limited, but they are working on the problem, that I assure you.
Okay, is it just me, or is that the most bureaucratically vague, silly answer you've ever heard in your life?
Yes.
The information, there's a yes or a no. It's a reimbursement or a no. It's not that complicated. This isn't like the Secretary of State, all right? There's not negotiations in the Middle East. Well, can you get that from somebody?
I will try.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Sun World pilot guy eventually slithered off into the night, presumably to fly again another day. To add insult to injury, a statement issued today by TNT says we were given lists of hotels to stay at. We were not. The statement said we were given a number to call to find out what was what. We were. Literally, no one got through. The biggest problem with this fiasco is that no one knew who to call, no one knew what to do, no one knew who would make a decision, and one got the feeling they were just too cheap, too stupid, or both to do anything about it. To have a mechanical problem is typical. To have absolutely no contingency plan in case of emergency and no one on standby to figure things out is ludicrous. It may be called Sunworld, but it is the mother of all disorganizations. And as for TNT, it is aptly named because this vacation blew up real good.
Ladies and gentlemen, TNT and Sunworld claim they will reimburse us. I, for one, will be submitting my receipts, but I will wait until I have the actual check in my hand before I believe that they will actually reimburse me. And thanks again to Georgie Porgy, the Animal Parfait, for an incredible amount of camera work. And thanks to all the fine human beings who were there with us who, stared while I made a fool of myself in public. And a postscript, ladies and gentlemen, after a 10-hour drive here from Raleigh, North Carolina in my lovely little Avis rental car, I found that my own personal car front left tire was low, so I drove it pretty much on the rim to the 7-Eleven and I put air in it. Boom! It blew up. You know, when it rains, it pours. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the sun shines in your dog, and sometimes you're just a dog's butt or something like that. You know what I'm saying, Eric? You know what I mean? Things just don't go. You know what? You're with me on that. We'll follow up on this exciting story later on, but now that's enough of that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to the Steelers' leases and whether they are fair and whether or not we're all getting a good deal since we're all kicking in cash for the Steelers' new stadium on Night Talk on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Tom Flaherty joins us in just a moment.
Night Talk is sponsored in part by R.A. Mayo.